We've seen the letter that your lawyers have sent about your tax returns. Is there anything you'd like to say about it?
Nothing whatsoever. Nothing whatsoever. Have nothing to say about it. It's I got elected. They elected me. Now they keep going. I'm under audit. When you're under audit, you don't do it. But I'm under audit. Other people are under audit, and nobody would do it when you are going through an audit. And I always go through audits. They audit me all the time.
That was 7 audits that he dropped by my count there. He was asked yesterday about his finances, of course, in light of the House Ways and Means Committee formally requesting that the IRS hand over 6 years of the president's personal and business tax returns, a request that certainly will not come without a fight. Joining me now to discuss are conservative radio talk show host and attorney Chandelle Summer and Democratic strategist and former advisor to the Hillary Clinton campaign in South Carolina, Antoine Seawright. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Chandelle, I want to start with you.
Good morning, Philip.
Good morning. The president, Chandelle, constantly asked about his taxes. He always says he's under audit, as we heard there. But even if he is under audit, that doesn't stop him from releasing his tax returns. And so by not releasing them, what do you think the president is trying to hide?
I think that the issue is whether or not his tax returns should be released since he's been president or for the period prior to his becoming president. I think those are two different issues. It's one thing to say, let's see your tax returns since you've been president, but the private business that he was in prior to him becoming president, that should be off base.
And Antoine, the president's new lawyer said in a statement that Chairman Neal's request is a transparent effort by one political party to harass an official from the other party because they dislike his politics and speech. So, Antoine, why should the American people believe this probe isn't just, to borrow a phrase from the president, another witch hunt?
Because the Republican Party and Donald Trump in particular want to play by a different set of rules. They want to play different strokes for different folks. If this was the Democratic Party, if this was Barack Obama, people would be screaming to the top of their lungs. They would be screaming impeachment. They would be doing all the things saying we need to see his tax returns. The bottom line is I'm from South Carolina, and so we have a famous saying in the South that says there's something in the milk that ain't clean if the president just doesn't want to be transparent in releasing his tax return. If you don't have anything to hide, then why not be transparent as the leader of the free world and let the American people see what they need to see so we can move on? At the end of the day, what we need from this White House, from this president, is transparency. It seems as if transparency is not the name of the game that this president wants to play.
But Chandelle, what about his
Exactly,
Go ahead, Chandelle. I wanted you to respond. Go ahead.
The American people obviously didn't care about President Trump's tax returns because they elected him.
That's not true.
And
That's not true. No. That's not true.
Absolutely. They elected him, and this issue came up before the election. So he refused to release the tax returns prior to the election because he said he was under audit. Now Congress has stepped in. They've asked that the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee has requested his tax returns, and he's requested them through the IRS commissioner. And President Trump is saying at this point he's not going to release them. Whether or not he releases some of them but not all is a good issue. That's where they should compromise.
No disrespect. You and I both know that's the biggest load of meatloaf we've ever heard about being an audit.
This is simply the Democrats trying to come in and further
there are millions of people every single day who are under audit. That doesn't allow them to not release their tax returns. You and I both know that. In fact, Warren Buffett, during the course of the 2016 campaign, talked about how he's been in audit many times, but he was willing to come forth and release his tax returns. So that doesn't preclude or not allow Donald Trump to do the same. What we do know, what we can safely assume is there's something that he does not want people to see. Otherwise, he would be happily willing and able to release his tax returns.
The issue with an audit, excuse me, Antoine, the issue with an audit is that when your tax returns are under audit, there are issues that are still unresolved. If you throw those tax returns open to the public, what you will have is a crowdsourcing
just
of the
because you say it does not make it true.
Returns.
We've seen many.
That's not necessary, and it's not fair.
Just because you say it on a Saturday morning does not make it true. In fact, we've seen many experts who say that he can release his tax returns if he wanted to. The bottom line, he doesn't want to because obviously there's something to hide.
It's not a good idea for him personally to
have his tax returns. It's not a good idea for him politically. Correct your statement. It's not a good idea for him politically.
Pundits and vociferous antagonistic people who want to destroy him. There's no reason for him to release his tax returns when he was elected without releasing them. The ones
Chandelle,
that have been...
again, if he does not have anything to hide, then why not release them to the American people so we can see?
Yeah, Chandelle, as
play hide and go seek.
Chandelle, as an American citizen, are you not curious whether the President of the United States had any ties to any foreign country, Saudi Arabia, China, for example? Are you not curious to see what is there in his recent past?
Well, we've just gone through a 2-year investigation where it was determined that he did not coordinate or conspire with the Russian government.
So you'd rather have
There's
less
never
information.
Been any allegations that he conspired with any other foreign
You're saying
government.
you'd rather have less information.
So she brought up a valid point. We went through an investigation. We were able to see. Right, we were able to see first of all, we don't know what we don't know because the full report has not been released. But at least we know some preliminary things. We do not know anything preliminary about Donald Trump's tax returns because we have not seen them. So you brought up a valid point. We just went through an investigation, yes, but we don't know what we don't know. And as it relates to his tax returns, we don't know what we do not know.
So that's what I'm asking, Chandelle. You're okay with just not knowing? You're okay as an American citizen not knowing?
This country has grown up with. Sure. This country has grown up with Donald Trump. He was a household name in the 1980s.
So
we all know what his businesses are. We all know what television programs he's been on. No one is curious about the contents of his tax returns.
No, that's not true.
Other than the media and his political opponents.
That's not true.
This is the Democratic Party basically searching for another avenue since the Mueller investigation has petered out, and they're no longer able to use that as a reason to defame the president.
That's not true. We've seen Republicans. In fact, the former representative from South Carolina Republican, Mark Sanford, said during the course of the campaign he and other members of the Republican caucus wanted to see the president's return. So for you to sit here on a Saturday morning and say that is political malpractice. And in fact, it's disheartening because the one thing we have to do, whether it's Trump, whether it's Obama, no matter who the leader of the free world is and who we elect, we should all be in the spirit of transparency and know what the person who's occupying the highest office in this land has done and what they are doing. You would be singing loud this Saturday morning if this was Barack Hussein Obama.
We really need to be allowing the president to focus on more important matters, and this constant investigation, trying to find some way to trip him up, something that they can use in the next election, is really problematic for the American people, and it's really going to be counterproductive for the Democratic Party, and I think it will backfire.
That's not true.
So you're saying it's counterproductive, Chandelle, you're saying it's counterproductive for the American people to know whether the President of the United States had any foreign influence?
No, that's not necessarily counterproductive, but he's already been through a 2-year investigation into whether or not he was conspiring with the Russian government.
In which the American people
wanted. He was exonerated.
Lively debate.
We're going to have
no. Can I say one thing?
You got to make it real quick.
You're making the assumptions that Democrat cannot investigate and legislate. Rob Bass said it this way: it takes two to make the thing go right. Democrats can investigate and legislate, and they have an obligation to hold this president and this administration accountable.
Both of you out of sight. Chandelle Summer, Antoine C. Wright, thank you both for joining us this morning.